Joe Hopkins here, and today I'm doing another You Need to Hear This Album episode. My wonderful album reviews on the new album by The Warning, Keep Me Fed. That's the name of the album. Gonna have me a beer because I gotta keep me drunk. And, I'll tell you, this album is straight up awesome. I mean, it's rock on awesome. This is one of my favorite bands to come out in the last 15 years. Hands down, I haven't been this excited about a new album in quite a while. And I haven't been this excited about a new band in quite a while. I love The Warning. They're really, really good. The Villarreal sisters from Monterrey, Mexico. They are kick-ass, man. There are no surprises on this album. I'll put that out there right away. This is a straight up and down, straightforward rock and roll band. They're not progressive. Nothing is going to surprise you. There's nothing that's going to, no weird timings or anything that's going to go, ooh, that's different. It's just kick-ass rock and roll. These girls know how to write a fucking song. Seriously. They remind me of AC/DC like that, where you know what's coming, you know what it's going to be, nothing's going to surprise you, and it still kicks ass. It's just kick-ass from beginning to end. I really, really love the album. Honestly, it is not my favorite album of theirs. I would still say 21st Century Blood is my favorite album from The Warning, with Queen of the Murder Scene close behind it. I love their first two albums. This is their fourth album. They also did one called Error. I really like their first two albums because they're so raw and unhinged and kind of loose. And I got a soft spot in my heart for that. It's the reason why Kill 'Em All is still my favorite Metallica album. I got a soft spot for that initial raw output, like Appetite for Destruction from Guns N' Roses. It was so much more raw and unhinged. It felt like it was falling apart the whole time. I liked it. Same reason why I really still dig their first two albums the best, because it just felt like it spent an hour falling apart. And it's just so rock and roll, it's so loose and raw. But this album is, honestly, it's brutal. This is a good album. It's hot. To compare them to Metallica again, it's the difference between Metallica's early stuff and then their 90s stuff. 80s and 90s. There's a difference, right? Same thing here. Queen of the Murder Scene and 21st Century Blood were very much like the Metallica 80s stuff, where it's very, almost like first effort kind of stuff. And you got a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in it. And their 90s stuff is so polished, And I like both from Metallica and from The Warning. I really like this album a lot. I'd say the best song on the album is the last one, Automatic Sun. I love that song. Consume, which is the second to last song, is also really, really good. The last two songs were my favorite on the album. It ended so strong. It started out strong. The whole album is pretty strong. Now, I looked up the song credits, the songwriting credits, and I noticed that obviously, like, there are two producers, and they're listed on all the songs because that's what producers do now. It's their job to help these kids be better. And instead, they just plaster their name all over everything nowadays. They didn't used to do that. I find it a touch offensive. But regardless, they also brought in some other people, I'm guessing to tighten the whole thing up some. And it worked. Definitely tighter. This is the tightest album. It's the punchiest album. It's the most mass consumable effort they've made so far. This is an album that is very mainstream and can be on the Billboard charts, which I think is what they're looking for. But at the same time, it still is the same songwriting they've had before. These girls can write songs. They're very good songwriters. So you're getting the same level of songwriting, but with everything tightened up, better production. It's very good. It really, really is. I really like it. I gotta say, this is, honestly, this band, I'm more excited about them than I have been almost anybody else in the last 15 years. It's been a while since I really dug something this much. I feel like a kid again, waiting for your favorite band to put the next album out and then loving it, right? I feel like I did, like when the Black album came out, when Metallica's Black album came out. I have the same kind of feeling, you know. I had that feeling when I discovered The Warning. When I first got into them, it was the same kind of feeling I had when I first found Metallica or Avenged Sevenfold or Slipknot, you know, Black Sabbath, bands like that. When I first hear them and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. The same feeling I had when I first heard Led Zeppelin, right? I'm like, this is really amazing. I really dig this. And I've had that feeling with them. I really like this band. I really hope they get as big as they deserve to be. They seem to be. Honestly, they are really growing a hell of a fan base. I got tickets to see them in September in Baltimore. They're playing Ram's Head Live on September 14th. And that's going to be a great weekend. I'm seeing St. Vincent on September 13th in D.C. and then The Warning on September 14th in Baltimore. But they also got gigs all over the U.S. They seem to be playing like the larger, like medium to larger clubs. You know, I'm seeing them at Ram's Head Live. I think they're also playing at, I forget the name of the place in Pittsburgh. I almost bought tickets to see them in Pittsburgh because I'm halfway between Baltimore and Pittsburgh. You know, I could go either way. I picked Baltimore. But I'm really looking forward to seeing them. Honestly, they are an awesome band. And this is just a brutally efficient album from beginning to end. Even like the few guitar solos there are, not a lot of solos in it. It's not like, you know, any kind of crazy guitar stuff. The few solos there are very sparse, to the point, and they're exactly what they need to be for the song. And they work. You know, you don't miss the lack of shredding on it. You really don't. Everything's put together so well. The songs are written so well. Obviously, their singer and guitarist, I forget her name. I don't know their first names. Okay, I should. But she's obviously not a shredder. She's not a guitar prodigy or anything like that. Excellent rhythm guitarist. Excellent. Reminds me of like James Hetfield, where just you can rhythm the hell out of it while you're singing. But they don't have a Kirk Hammett. They don't have somebody to lay down the crazy guitar solos. So their songs mostly, on this album, they all come in around 3 minutes. The shortness is probably due to the lack of guitar solos, which you usually have in songs like these, but you don't with this band. And that's fine. The songs really aren't lacking for not having a guitar solo. They really are just very straightforward rock and roll. There's nothing there that's going to surprise you. There's nothing there that's going to make you go, huh, that's different. But you're just so satisfied with it. It's exactly the right thing for the songs they write. And the songs they write are quite good. So this is an album I'm going to listen to a good bit. I'm not going to play clips of the songs on this one because honestly it would be unfair to the band and it'd be unfair to you guys. Go and actually listen to it, because all I could play on here is like 5-second clips and you don't really get the feel for it. I can tell you it's worth listening to. Go onto Spotify, go onto YouTube, wherever, look up the full album and listen to it. It's that good. It's worth just hitting play and listening to it from beginning to end, like we used to. Like we did when there were records and CDs, where you bought an album, put it in, played the whole thing. It's worth it. It's an album that's worth listening to. Don't just listen to single songs. Listen to the album. It was put together well. The way the songs flow, there's a flow to it. It's an actual album. It's worth listening to from beginning to end. And it's one of the better albums to come out in recent years. like I said, they're one of my favorite bands in the last 15 years. So in the last 15 years, I really love the Main Squeeze. I love the Fantastic Negrito. That dude is hot. His playing is awesome. His singing is awesome. There's a couple bands that have come out. Brandy Carlisle. Other than that, there's only a couple, right? I hear The Warning, and it reminds me of the way I felt. The last time I felt this way was like in 2004. 2000 to 2004, when you had bands like System of a Down and Slipknot and The Killers and Panic at the Disco and My Chemical Romance. Who else was out there? Avenged Sevenfold, Coheed and Cambria, all that stuff was coming out, and I was getting into it, and it was exciting. I feel that way again. I really do. This band makes me feel 20 years younger, just because I feel like I did back then. I haven't felt like that for a while. And I don't think it's because the music coming out is bad. It's just not my taste. This is my taste. This is definitely my taste. And I appreciate hearing a really good rock and roll band coming out now when there's a lack of really good rock and roll bands, right? I went to see Greta Van Fleet the other month, and they're a really good rock and roll band that has come out recently. They're another band that came out in the last 10 years that I really love. And this feels like that, where finally, man, a really good rock and roll band. I love it. It's worth drinking a PBR too, or 3 or 4. I forget how many I've had at this point. But yeah, you need to hear this album. Keep Me Fed by The Warning. It's worth checking out. And they are on tour as of the time that I'm shooting this video. I'm shooting it in late June of 2024, and they're about to come to the U.S. and start touring around. So check it out. Go to Ticketmaster or... was it Ticketmaster or AXS that I found them on? But look it up. Look it up. Just whoever's selling the tickets. Ticketmaster ain't the only game in town, apparently. So check it out. And if you like it, go to see them live. They look like a really great live act. And keep tuned into my channel if you want to see how the concert was. Because, like I said, September 14th, I'm going to see them. And I should have a concert review coming out shortly thereafter. And to tell you how good it was. But I've seen live clips of them. I already know they're awesome live. I'm looking forward to seeing them. So, yeah, man, check it out. You need to hear this album. You need to check out this band. And if you're a rock and roll fan, you'll dig it. I'm just saying. So, yeah. All right. So, yeah, subscribe to my channel. In a minute, some playlists come up. One of them says, you need to hear this album. This is other albums that I believe you need to hear. And I'll see you in the next video. I love you guys. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.